Welcome to Clip and Tell Crafting Stories from Newspaper Snippets. This is one of my very favorite things to do on Storied, and it's super easy, especially with the integration with the newspaper archive platform right on the Storied site. So let's jump in and I will do an example for you. So over here on the left-hand side of my navigation panel, I'm going to go under the search section and I'm going to choose a newspaper search. If you've been on Newspaper Archive, this should look very similar to you. The search features and filters are exactly the same. So I'm going to search for an ancestor, and when I do it, I like to do a keyword search as opposed to first, middle, and last name search. So I'm going to do Johnson Brown. And when I do this search, I'm going to say an exact phrase because I know that's the phrase that I'm looking for. So lots of filters here. I can narrow by location. I can narrow by date. I am going to go to a state location of Indiana, and I'm going to narrow by, I really like the different filters that are available here. So I'm going to go before, and I'm going to say 1875 because it's a pretty early newspaper that I want. So once I have the filters in place that I want to search by, I'm going to click on search. And again, Newspaper Archive is integrated straight into the Storied site. So all of these newspaper examples and results are going to be coming from Newspaper Archive. So here are my results. You can see I've got a quick kind of snapshot thumbnail image. It tells me the newspaper, the date, and the location. And then there's a snippet of OCR text here on the right, just to kind of give you an idea of what that particular article is going to be about. So the one that I'm looking for, and it looks like I've got quite a few, I've got 88. I'm looking for one that is in New Albany. So I kind of just did a quick search here and scan down the page, and I see this one is a New Albany one, but I know that's not the one that I want. So I can come back in here to my edit search, and I can actually narrow down my location a little bit further. So I'm just looking in New Albany. So I'm going to choose that. You can see I didn't have to do an entire new search. I could just edit the original one. So now I'm going to go ahead and search. So I've only got 13 results that are in the New Albany Daily Ledger. I'm looking for one that is from June 8th of 1868. This is the one that is the one I'm looking for. So I'm going to click on it. And when I do, it's going to bring up the newspaper page. So the tools are just like the same tools that you would see on Newspaper Archive. I can adjust, I can zoom in and out, I can scroll to different pages, I can find on the page, and then I can download, print, and save that as a clipping, which we'll do here in just a minute. The one thing that I wanted to talk about here, though, is if I am in this newspaper and I realize it's not the one that I want, I can just click the back up here in the upper left-hand corner, and it takes me back to my search results. But it is the one that I want, so I'm going to go back into that newspaper, and I'm going to talk about the find on page, because I'm really not sure where on this page my Johnson is located. So I'm just going to type in his first name and click on find, and let's see if we get a pop-up here. Okay, so it's not finding Johnson, and sometimes depending on the newspaper, it may not find it because of the OCR text. So this one here is not the one that I'm looking for, and that's a William Brown, so that's not the one. And now I've got another Brown, and this one is actually the one that I'm looking for. This section here called the oldest man in the state. So what I'm going to do now is I want to clip this to put this in my family tree with my Johnson. So I'm going to click on save in the upper right hand corner here. And then I'm going to get my clipping tools. So my clipping tools, I can choose just a regular standard square. You can see I have different options for the shape of my clipping. I just want my standard square option. And if I grab the corners, the blue square corners, I can drag and create that clipping, whatever size and shape that I want. So now I'm going to click on next. And this is one of the features that I absolutely adore with the Newspaper Archive and Storied tie. I have a family tree and it has Johnson Brown in it. So if I start typing his name, I'm going to get a type ahead. and there is Johnson, I can tag this clipping to the person inside my family tree. So I'm going to click on done. That's finished. And now the next option is going to be, it's telling me my clipping was saved, but I can do two different things. I can view it in my scrapbook, or I can start a story with it. So I'm going to go ahead and click on start a story, and it's going to bring in that clipping into a story. So you can see here's the clipping, and I can add other media if I wanted to. So if I had pictures or other clippings, newspaper clippings, I could. But what I really like down here is it takes that newspaper information from the clipping that I made, and it automatically puts it into the story. So I know this came from the New Albany Daily Ledger, the location, and the date of the newspaper. And so I'm going to create a title for my story, Oldest Man in the State. And then just for time purposes, I copied my story so I wouldn't have to type it in. So I just did a short little story here about this particular article, and then I'm going to click on next. I can say who is the story author, so I could put in me if I wanted to, or if someone else told this story, I could put that in there. Who is in this story? Notice that we've already tagged Johnson, so his name appears here. I can choose a category if I want, and I'm going to do just memories. And then I'm going to click on next. I don't have any groups in this particular account, but if I did, I could choose what groups I want this story to be published in, and I can say it's public or it's private. And I'm going to leave this public for it to be viewable to others. I'm going to click on done. And then once I do that, that's going to take me back to the actual newspaper page that I found it on. I can go back to my search results if I want to, but I wanted to show you if I go to home, you'll see that here is the story in my home feed with the newspaper clipping, and I have just taken a newspaper clipping and made it into a story. Good luck with your search.